Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. Mami Noodle Soup, history, ingredients, and how to make it at home. Warm, comforting, and packed with flavor, Mami Noodle Soup is a staple in Filipino cuisine that's loved by everyone from kids to elders. Known for its rich broth, tender noodles, and savory toppings, it's more than just a meal, it's a hug in a bowl. Whether enjoyed at home or ordered at a local eatery, Mami holds a special place in family gatherings and everyday moments alike. In this video, we'll explore its fascinating history, essential ingredients, and how you can recreate this classic dish at home. Get ready to learn what makes Mami a timeless favorite and discover the different ways you can make it your own. The origins of Mami Noodle Soup. Mami Noodle Soup didn't just appear out of thin air, it's a dish with a story as rich as its broth. Its history is rooted in cultural exchange, bringing together Chinese culinary traditions and Filipino heart. Let's dive into how this beloved comfort food came to be a staple in the Philippines. A blend of cultures. Filipino cuisine is a melting pot of influences, and Chinese cooking is one of its most significant contributors. From siopao to pancit, many Filipino favorites trace their roots back to Chinese immigrants who brought their recipes to the Philippines. Mami is no exception. The dish itself borrows heavily from Chinese noodle soups, particularly those featuring hand-pulled noodles and a deeply flavorful broth. However, like many foreign dishes that arrived in the Philippines, Mami went through a transformation. Local flavors and ingredients were added to suit Filipino tastes, giving it a personality all its own. Filipinos added their flair with familiar toppings like hard-boiled eggs, sliced meat, and even fried garlic. Over time, Mami evolved from a Chinese-inspired dish to a local comfort food. Whether served in a sophisticated restaurant or a roadside carinderia, Mami noodles became a fixture in Filipino food culture, a perfect example of how two cuisines can merge and create something entirely new. Tracing back to Ma Mon Luk. When talking about Mami Noodle Soup, you can't skip the story of Ma Mon Luk. A name practically synonymous with Mami, Ma Mon Luk was a Chinese immigrant who came to the Philippines in the early 20th century with a dream and a recipe. He started selling his version of noodle soup on the streets of Manila, blending his cooking talents with good old-fashioned persistence. Armed with a humble product and a knack for marketing, he offered free samples to potential customers and made sure his dish left a lasting impression. It worked. His Mami Noodle Soup quickly gained a loyal following, especially among working-class Filipinos who craved affordable yet filling meals. Eventually, Ma Mon Luk opened his own restaurant, which bore his name, cementing Mami's legacy in Filipino dining history. His establishments became iconic destinations, serving bowls of piping hot Mami to everyone, from students to businessmen. The name Ma Mon Luk not only stood for the man, but for the dish itself, a legacy that continues to influence Filipino food culture today. Ma Mon Luk's story is one of hard work, innovation, and adaptability, echoing the very essence of the Mami Noodle Soup. A dish born from cultural crossover, it remains a testament to how food can connect people and traditions across borders. Key ingredients of Mami Noodle Soup. Mami Noodle Soup is a masterclass in balance. Each component plays a vital role in creating the comforting, layered flavors this dish is known for. From the texture of the noodles to the depth of the broth and the vibrant toppings, every element works together to deliver a satisfying experience in every bite. Let's take a closer look at the key ingredients that make this Filipino classic so special. The noodles. The choice of noodles can make or break a bowl of Mami. Traditionally, fresh egg noodles are used, prized for their chewy texture and light, slightly savory flavor that complements the rich broth. Their springy consistency is perfect for soaking up the soup while still holding their shape, giving you that satisfying slurp with every spoonful. Egg noodles also play a visual role, with their golden hue making the dish as appetizing to look at as it is to eat. While fresh noodles are ideal, other types like wheat or rice noodles can be used in a pinch. However, nothing quite matches the authentic texture and taste of classic egg noodles. When selecting noodles, look for ones that are thin but sturdy. They should be soft enough to enjoy but firm enough to carry the weight of the broth and toppings. After all, the noodles are the heart of Mami. They connect all the elements together. Flavorful broth. Broth is the soul of any noodle soup, and in Mami, it's a star. Made by simmering chicken, pork, or beef bones, the broth develops an irresistible depth of flavor over hours of slow cooking. The bones release their natural richness, creating a hearty base that's both savory and slightly sweet. Seasoning is another key factor. Traditional Mami broth is infused with ingredients like onions, garlic, ginger, peppercorns, and fish sauce, which add layers of warmth and complexity. These aromatics aren't just about flavor, they bring out a soothing, homey quality that makes the dish so comforting. For some, the broth is clear and light. For others, it's slightly cloudy with a richer mouthfeel. Both variations are equally delicious, and personal preference often dictates which one is served. The goal? To create a broth so flavorful that it can stand alone. You'll know you've nailed it when the first sip makes you pause and go in for more. Toppings and add-ins. Toppings are where Mami soup gets its personality, adding color, texture, and extra layers of taste. Common toppings include boiled eggs, sliced or halved. They add a creamy richness that offsets the savory broth. Green onions bring a pop of freshness and a mild oniony bite with every spoonful. Fried garlic, a sprinkle of this crispy, aromatic garnish enhances the overall flavor and adds a hint of nuttiness. Other options often include shredded chicken, pork asado, or tender beef brisket, depending on the type of Mami. Some people even add toasted garlic oil or calamansi juice for a tangy twist that cuts through the richness of the dish. The toppings aren't just for visual appeal, they transform the soup into a meal with a satisfying variety of textures. Whether you're breaking into the velvety yolk of a soft-boiled egg or crunching on fried garlic bits, these add-ins turn a simple bowl into a feast. How to make Mami noodle soup at home. Preparing Mami noodle soup at home is surprisingly simple and deeply rewarding. Bringing together a rich, flavorful broth, perfectly cooked noodles, and delicious toppings, it's not just about eating, it's about creating a comforting experience. Whether you're cooking for a weeknight dinner, or to impress guests, this guide will walk you through every step. Cooking the perfect broth. Broth is the heart of Mami noodle soup. Get it right, and the rest will fall beautifully into place. To make a flavorful broth, take your time, low and slow is the way to go. Choose your meat and bones wisely. Chicken, pork, or beef bones are the best choices. For added depth, include cuts like chicken thighs, beef shanks, or pork belly. Roast the bones in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit if you want a richer flavor. Simmer, don't boil. Place the bones in a large pot and cover them with cold water. Add flavor-enhancing ingredients like onions, garlic, ginger, peppercorns, and a splash of fish sauce. Bring this to a boil, then immediately lower the heat to a gentle simmer. Simmer for 2 to 3 hours for chicken or up to 6 hours for beef or pork. The goal is to extract every bit of savory goodness while keeping the broth clear. Skim fat and impurities. As it simmers, a layer of foam and oil will form on top. Use a ladle or fine mesh strainer to skim it off every 20 to 30 minutes, ensuring a clean-tasting broth. Don't skip this step, it makes all the difference. Season with care. Season lightly during the cooking process to allow room for adjustments later. Taste the broth towards the end and adjust with salt or fish sauce as needed. By the time you're done, your kitchen will smell amazing, and you'll have a broth that's rich, aromatic, and deeply satisfying. Preparing the noodles. The noodles in Mami soup provide the base for the entire dish. You want them perfectly cooked, soft but not mushy. Choose the right type. Fresh egg noodles are the gold standard. Their firm texture holds up well in the broth while giving a slight chewiness in every bite. If fresh noodles aren't available, dried egg noodles or even thin spaghetti can be a suitable alternative. Cooking tips: boil a large pot of water, no salt needed, as the broth itself will add enough flavor. Add the noodles and cook them until they're just tender, typically 1 to 2 minutes for fresh noodles or 4 to 5 minutes for dried. Check often. Overcooked noodles ruin the dish. Drain the noodles immediately and rinse them under cold water. This halts the cooking process and removes excess starch, preventing them from clumping together. Pro tip: toss the noodles with a small amount of sesame oil. Not only does this keep them from sticking, but it adds a subtle nutty flavor. Cooking noodles separately from the broth is essential. This keeps the noodles from absorbing too much liquid and turning soggy, ensuring your soup stays clear and flavorful. Assembling the soup. Assembling Mami Noodle Soup is where the magic happens. It's your chance to layer flavors and create a bowl that looks as good as it tastes. Layer the noodles. Place a generous serving of noodles in the bottom of each bowl. Arrange them neatly for a tidy presentation. Think of this as setting the stage for your toppings. Add the broth. Ladle hot broth over the noodles slowly, ensuring every strand gets coated. The heat from the broth warms the noodles while infusing them with flavor. Aim for a balance, enough broth to nearly cover the toppings without drowning them. Top with toppings, sliced or shredded meat, chicken, pork, or beef, for a hearty protein boost. Boiled eggs, either halved or sliced, add a pleasant richness. A handful of thinly sliced green onions for a fresh, herbaceous punch. An optional sprinkle of fried garlic for a golden, crispy texture. Add final touches, a drizzle of soy sauce or garlic oil for deeper umami flavors. A squeeze of calamansi or lemon juice for a hint of brightness, cutting through the richness of the broth. To finish, serve the soup piping hot, letting the steam tease all the delicious aromas upward. Don't be surprised if your guests can't resist digging in immediately. Building each bowl one step at a time allows you to control consistency and presentation. Every finished dish will reflect the care and effort you put into it. And that's what makes homemade Mami so special. It's not just a meal, it's a masterpiece tailored to your taste. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe.